There comes a moment in every life when the crowd disappears, the noise fades, and you stand alone. But hear me well, alone is not weakness. Alone is where the unstoppable are born. My friends, let us speak of solitude. So many tremble at the thought of walking alone. They believe the quiet path is an empty one. But I tell you, there is a mighty strength that blooms in the stillness. There is a fire that roars in the silence. Alone is not exile, it is elevation. When the world does not clap for you, clap for yourself. When no hand reaches out to lift you, learn to rise on your own 2 feet. The way of the true strong is not found in the comfort of the crowd, but in the courage of the solitary soul. You see, storms will come, shadows will stretch across your journey. People will doubt you, abandon you, misunderstand you, but still, you must move. Still, you must press forward, because destiny does not wait for applause. It waits for the brave. And when you emerge from the valley of solitude, when you rise with scars that sing of survival, the world will finally see what you already knew, that you were never weak, you were simply being prepared. Alone but unstoppable. That is the way of the true strong. Solitude is not weakness. It is strength in disguise. The world often teaches us to fear being alone, as if companionship itself is the only measure of worth. We are raised to believe that validation must come from voices outside of our own, that applause from others is the crown we must wear to prove we are valuable. Yet solitude strips away that illusion. It brings you face to face with the raw material of who you truly are. There, in the quiet, without the constant hum of approval, without the presence of familiar hands guiding you, you begin to understand that your existence does not lean on the shoulders of others. It stands firmly on its own. The silence of solitude is not an emptiness to be filled. It is a canvas waiting for the bold strokes of self-discovery. It is in that solitude that you hear the unshakable truth. You are enough. Even when no one is watching, even when no one is clapping, even when the world has turned its back. Strength disguised in solitude does not come to you wrapped in comfort or ease. It does not come in sweet songs or gentle breezes. It comes in the storm. It comes in the days when you wake up and know that no one is coming to save you, and still you rise. It comes in the nights when the room is heavy with silence and still you dream. Solitude stretches you beyond the reach of dependence. It chisels you into something harder, something unbreakable, because when you learn to survive without the constant presence of others, you learn a form of independence that cannot be stolen. You learn that while companionship may be sweet, it is not oxygen. You learn to breathe on your own, to find rhythm in your own heartbeat, to dance even when the music is not playing. This, my friend, is the strength that solitude hides within its walls, the ability to live fully without leaning on what is temporary. Many people look at solitude as punishment, a shadow that falls on the unlucky. But the truth is that solitude is a training ground. It is a sacred place where you are refined, sharpened, and polished into your truest self. Alone, you do not have to play the roles others write for you. Alone, you do not have to bend to fit into the boxes they construct. Alone, you can stretch your spirit wide. You can sit in the fullness of your own voice. You can discover dreams that were drowned out by the noise of others' expectations. Solitude is not the end of connection. It is the beginning of authentic connection, because until you know who you are in silence, you will never know who you are in the crowd. The disguise of weakness that solitude wears is nothing but a mask. Pull it away, and you will see that solitude is a gift, one that demands your courage but gives you clarity in return. The strength of solitude is not loud or boastful. It does not shout to the world, "Look at me." It whispers in your ear, "Look within." And in that looking, you begin to see your own resilience, your own capacity to endure, your own ability to rise. People who have never stood alone often crumble when the crowd disperses because they never built the muscles of self-reliance. But those who have walked alone, who have sat in their solitude and embraced it rather than feared it, carry with them an invisible armor. They are not shaken when others abandon them. They are not destroyed when the applause fades. They are not paralyzed when doubt surrounds them. For they know deep within that the strength they carry was not borrowed. It was born in them in the sacred silence of solitude. True strength is discovered when no one stands beside you. It is in the moments when the comfort of companionship is stripped away, when the echo of your footsteps is the only sound you hear, that you come to realize what you are made of. Anyone can appear strong when the crowd is clapping, when family is lifting, when friends are cheering, and love is surrounding. But what happens when all those voices go silent? What happens when the crowd disperses, when those who once swore loyalty vanish into the shadows? That is when the true test begins. In the stillness of solitude, you learn to build your own fire. You learn to light your own torch. You learn that strength is not borrowed from others. It is born within you. The discovery of strength in isolation is not a gentle process. It is harsh, unyielding, and often painful. Yet it is in that pain where resilience takes root. Imagine standing in the midst of a storm, rain cutting into your skin, thunder splitting the sky, and realizing that there is no one around to shelter you. In that instant, the only choice left is to become your own shelter. You wrap your arms around your own heart, you shield your own dreams, and you refuse to be broken. This is how strength reveals itself, not when the skies are clear and the road is easy, but when you must walk with blistered feet, when you must march with weary bones, when you must keep your head high though the world tells you to bow. Strength that is proven alone is unshakable, for it was forged in the fire of solitude, not in the comfort of companionship. When no one stands beside you, you are forced to lean into the untapped parts of yourself. You find new wells of courage, hidden chambers of determination, and reservoirs of faith you never knew you possessed. People often say they cannot go on without the support of others, but those who are thrust into solitude soon realize they had everything they needed all along. You do not discover the depth of your endurance while walking hand in hand with others. You discover it when your hand is empty and you must still keep reaching forward. You do not measure your courage by the number of allies at your side, but by the steadiness of your heart when you face the unknown alone. True strength is not a performance for others to see. It is the quiet decision to keep standing when no eyes are upon you. Solitude reveals not only strength, but truth. When others surround you, their opinions, their fears, and their expectations can cloud your vision. They may tell you what you cannot do, what you should not pursue, what is beyond your reach. But when you stand alone, their voices fade. And in that silence, you begin to hear your own. It may tremble at first, unsure, unfamiliar, but with time it grows louder, stronger, and steadier. That voice tells you that you are capable. That voice tells you to keep moving. That voice reminds you that you are not defined by the presence or absence of others. The truest measure of strength is when you believe in yourself, even when no one else does. The path of walking alone is not one of comfort, but it is one of clarity. Every step you take without another to lean on sharpens your will. Every decision you make without another to confirm it strengthens your confidence. Every obstacle you face without someone to remove it teaches you resilience. And when you emerge from that path, you do not emerge fragile or uncertain. You emerge unbreakable. Those who have depended only on others for their strength crumble when left alone, but those who have endured solitude walk into the world with a fire no storm can extinguish. Their strength is no longer tied to circumstances or company. It belongs to them fully, deeply, and eternally. Clap for yourself when no one else will. It may sound simple, even small, but it is one of the most profound acts of strength a human being can learn. From childhood, we are conditioned to seek applause from others. The teacher's praise, the parent's smile, the friend's approval, the crowd's recognition. And for a while, that affirmation feels necessary, even life-giving, but life will not always offer applause at the moments you deserve it most. There will be times you labor in silence, times when you build something magnificent and not a soul takes notice, times when your victories are invisible to everyone but yourself. If you wait for others to validate you, you may wait forever. That is why you must learn the sacred discipline of clapping for yourself. It is not arrogance, it is survival. It is not vanity, it is acknowledgement of the truth that your worth is not measured by how loudly others cheer, but by how faithfully you continue. When you clap for yourself, you break free from the chains of dependency on outside approval. You take back the power you once gave away so freely. Too many people walk around diminished, not because they lack ability, but because they lack applause. They doubt their gifts because no one confirmed them. They abandon their dreams because no one encouraged them. They silence their voice because no one amplified it. But what if you decided that your own hands, your own voice, your own recognition were enough? What if you chose to celebrate your small wins, your unseen victories, your quiet progress? Each time you clap for yourself, you affirm your own journey, you honor your own resilience, and you remind yourself that external applause is sweet, but internal applause is sustaining. Self-celebration is not about ignoring the support of others when it comes. It is about ensuring that you are not starved without it. Imagine planting a seed in barren soil, tending it with your own hands, watering it day after day, watching it sprout through the cracks of hard ground. If you wait for the crowd to clap for the sprout, you may wait until it has withered away. But if you clap for the courage it took to plant the seed, for the discipline it took to water it daily, for the faith it took to believe it could grow, then you build the strength to continue even when no one else notices. Clapping for yourself is not about pretending the work is easy. It is about recognizing that even the smallest steps forward are victories worth honoring. The truth is, many people will not clap for you, not because you are unworthy, but because they are too consumed with their own battles, too distracted by their own fears, or too blinded by envy to see your light. If your strength depends on their recognition, you will collapse under the weight of their silence. But if your strength depends on your own recognition, their silence cannot stop you. Clapping for yourself builds an inner rhythm that keeps you moving when the world is quiet. It keeps you pushing when the path is long. It keeps you dreaming when the nights are heavy. It keeps you believing when doubt hovers near. It is the inner applause that sustains the outer journey. Think of the greats who walked before us. They were not always celebrated in their time. Many were ridiculed, ignored, dismissed, even hated. If they had waited for the crowd to clap, their work would have died unborn. Instead, they clapped for themselves in secret. They applauded their vision when no one else could see it. They celebrated their conviction when others mocked it. They honored their calling when the world denied it. And because they clapped for themselves, they continued. Because they continued, they triumphed. Because they triumphed, the world eventually joined the applause. That is the pattern of greatness. It begins with self-celebration long before public recognition arrives. So clap for yourself in the quiet hours. Clap for the mornings you rise though weary. Clap for the nights you fight through tears. Clap for the dreams you hold when fear tells you to let go. Clap for the courage to take a step when your legs shake beneath you. Clap for the resilience to keep standing when everything in you wants to sit down. Every clap you give yourself strengthens your spirit, steadies your resolve, and fuels your journey. And when at last the crowd does rise to applaud, you will not be shaken, for you already learned the greatest truth, that the most important applause in your life is the applause you give yourself. Challenges and abandonment are part of the path to greatness. Too often, people imagine greatness as a smooth road paved with recognition, encouragement, and support. They think that those who rise to greatness are carried on the shoulders of many, cheered into the spotlight, embraced at every step. But the truth is far harsher and far more refining. Greatness is not found in the easy embrace of acceptance. It is discovered in the cold sting of rejection. It is not born from constant companionship. It is birthed in the silence of abandonment. Every challenge that blocks your path is not a punishment, but a teacher. Every person who turns away is not your loss, but your liberation. The way to greatness is carved through trials that test you, storms that shake you, and deserts that strip you bare. Only those who endure those seasons without surrender rise into the fullness of who they are meant to be. When abandonment comes, it feels like a tearing. It feels like betrayal, as if something that should have stayed has been unjustly ripped away. But there is a hidden gift in abandonment. It teaches you what you do not need. It reveals who was never truly with you in the first place. It forces you to discover the depth of your own strength when the hands you trusted let go. Think of the countless souls who stood at the edge of despair because they were left behind, only to discover that what remained within them was more powerful than all that had been taken away. Abandonment burns, but in the fire, you find resilience. You find out that you can walk further than you thought, climb higher than you believed, and survive storms you once thought would destroy you. Challenges are not obstacles designed to stop you. They are gateways demanding your growth. Every mountain in your way is not there to turn you back, but to build your strength for the climb. Every disappointment is not there to shrink you, but to stretch you. Without challenges, greatness cannot be trusted, for untested strength is fragile strength. When you face hardship and rise anyway, you prove to yourself and to the world that your foundation is real. And when abandonment follows close behind, stripping you of false supports, it clears the stage for your truest self to step forward. Many people collapse when challenges arrive because they were depending on others to carry them through. But those who endure abandonment learn that their strength is not borrowed, it is theirs, raw and unyielding. Greatness demands solitude because it is in solitude that your vision becomes clear. If everyone stayed beside you, if no one ever abandoned you, you would remain entangled in the noise of other voices, bound by the weight of their opinions, slowed by the drag of their fears. But abandonment cuts those ties. It hurts, yes, but it frees you. It pushes you into the silence where your purpose can no longer be drowned out. Challenges then become the hammer and chisel, sculpting you, breaking away what does not belong, shaping you into the version of yourself that destiny requires. No masterpiece is made without pressure, without cutting, without breaking away excess. So too with greatness, it comes through the hammer of challenge and the chisel of abandonment. Consider the stories of those who achieved the extraordinary. Many were betrayed, dismissed, cast aside, or forgotten before their names ever echoed in the halls of history. They were abandoned by friends who could not understand their vision, doubted by family who could not see their strength, resisted by a society that feared their change. Yet they pressed on. The abandonment became their forge, the challenges became their test, and in time they emerged unshakable. If those challenges had been absent, if that abandonment had never come, they would not have grown into the giants they became. What seemed like cruelty was preparation, what seemed like punishment was protection, and what seemed like loss was the very soil in which their greatness took root. The truth is, you cannot avoid challenges and abandonment if you are called to greatness. They are not optional detours, they are necessary milestones. Each time you are pushed down, each time someone you trusted walks away, each time a door slams in your face, you are being shown the depth of your own will. You are being prepared for heights that comfort could never train you to reach. Every trial is sharpening you. Every abandonment is cleansing you. Every challenge is a silent declaration that greatness is near. To walk the path of greatness is to accept that not everyone can come with you, not every hand will stay in yours, and not every battle will be fought with an army at your side. Sometimes it is you alone against the storm, and sometimes that is exactly what it takes for greatness to rise. Destiny rewards the brave, not the comfortable. Comfort may feel safe, it may feel warm, it may even feel deserved after long seasons of struggle, but it is not the soil where greatness grows. Comfort asks nothing of you but silence and stillness. Bravery demands everything: your sweat, your sacrifice, your faith, and your willingness to step into uncertainty. Those who cling to comfort often live predictable lives, but predictability rarely writes a name in history. It is the brave who dare to walk paths unpaved, who risk failure, who stand in the face of fear and refuse to bow, that destiny lifts into heights unimaginable. Every story of greatness, every tale of transformation, every legacy worth remembering has been written not by those who chose the easy chair, but by those who walked barefoot across the burning coals of courage. Bravery is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward even while fear whispers in your ear. Too many wait for fear to disappear before they act, but fear never leaves completely. It lingers, it questions, it warns of dangers that may never arrive. Destiny does not reward the one who waits until every doubt is gone. It rewards the one who steps forward with doubt still buzzing, with knees trembling, with heart racing, and yet with a spirit unwilling to quit. That step, the trembling step forward, is the language destiny understands. Comfort silences that step, telling you to wait, to prepare more, to think longer, to avoid risk. But bravery silences comfort and insists that you move now, even if the path is uncertain, even if the outcome is unclear, even if the cost is high. Comfort lulls the soul into a slow death. It convinces you that safety is life's greatest prize, when in truth, safety often robs you of the very life you were meant to live. People stay in jobs that suffocate them, relationships that diminish them, and routines that starve them, all in the name of comfort. But those who find the courage to leave, to leap, to risk the unknown, find that destiny meets them on the other side. The brave are not promised an easy road, but they are promised a meaningful one. And meaning, not comfort, is what the soul craves most deeply. Meaning is what allows you to endure hardship, to overcome setbacks, to stand tall when the winds of adversity rage. Comfort cannot give you meaning. It only gives you the illusion of safety. Bravery gives you purpose, and purpose is the compass of destiny. Every act of bravery, no matter how small, is noticed by destiny. The child who dares to dream beyond their environment, the woman who speaks when silence would have been safer, the man who stands for truth though lies surround him, each is writing a covenant with destiny. Courage signals readiness, and readiness invites reward. Look at those who have changed the course of history or reshaped the world in some small but undeniable way. They were not the most comfortable. They were the most daring. They stood in opposition when it was dangerous. They walked into storms when others hid. They kept building when others abandoned the work. Their bravery became the currency with which they purchased greatness. Bravery is a muscle, and like any muscle, it must be exercised. Every time you choose bravery over comfort, you strengthen it. Every time you take the risk, have the hard conversation, chase the unlikely dream, or face the uncertain future, you grow braver. Comfort weakens you by convincing you that you have no need for growth. It whispers that where you are is good enough, that stretching would only cause pain, that leaping would only cause loss. But bravery sees through the lie. It knows that the pain of stretching is the price of strength, that the risk of leaping is the cost of flying. Those who listen to bravery step into arenas where destiny is waiting. Those who listen to comfort step into shadows where life passes them by unseen. Destiny is not neutral. It does not simply reward anyone who drifts through life. It waits for the bold, for the ones who are willing to risk the ridicule of others, the sting of failure, the loneliness of being misunderstood. It waits for those who trust the whisper of their own vision more than the roar of the crowd. Comfort is crowded, but bravery is often lonely. Yet in that loneliness, destiny sees you and takes note. It records your courage, it honors your risk, it prepares a stage that only you, with your scars and your victories, can stand upon. Comfort builds walls to keep life predictable. Bravery tears down walls so that life can be lived fully. And in the end, destiny does not ask how comfortable you were. It asks how courageous you dared to be. Survival through solitude becomes a testimony of unstoppable power. To endure seasons of silence, to walk through valleys where no one calls your name, to rise from nights when the world seemed deaf to your cries. This is the kind of survival that leaves an imprint on the soul. Many people survive when surrounded by support, when guided by helping hands and lifted by encouraging words. But to survive when all those things are absent, to survive when abandonment has emptied the room and the applause has gone silent, is to uncover a power that cannot be denied. That power is not borrowed. It does not depend on circumstance or companionship. It is yours, born from within, and it is unshakable. When you make it through solitude, when you endure the storm without shelter, your very survival becomes proof of strength greater than the obstacles you faced. The testimony of survival through solitude is not told in loud words, but in the unspoken language of resilience. It is the quiet strength in your eyes, the way you continue to stand tall when the world expected you to crumble. It is the way you rise each morning, even when yesterday broke you. Survival through solitude leaves behind scars, but those scars are not marks of defeat. They are the script of your story, written on your skin and in your soul. They say, I was struck, but I did not fall. I was abandoned, but I did not quit. I was left alone, but I discovered I was enough. That testimony speaks louder than the praise of others because it is undeniable. No one can take from you what you survived. No one can question the strength you proved in silence. When you survive solitude, you gain a kind of confidence that cannot be purchased or borrowed. You learn that you can weather storms, not because you had protection, but because you became your own protection. You learn that you can create light, not because someone handed you a torch, but because you struck the flame yourself. This confidence is not arrogance, it is certainty. It is the deep knowing that whatever comes next, you have already endured enough to prove your resilience. People who have never survived solitude often panic when support is withdrawn, but those who have already walked alone carry with them the knowledge that they can make it again, no matter who stays or leaves. That knowledge is unstoppable. It removes fear of abandonment. It destroys dependence on approval. It eliminates the illusion that you cannot live without others. You know now that you can because you already have.